Memo to strictly dads everywhere, bring a tissue. Jeff Brazier needed a few when his son Bobby took to the most famous dance floor in Britain on Saturday night, performing a routine dedicated to, and inspired by, his late mother Jade Goody. For Jeff, it wasn't a new thing to see his lanky son perform. It was new to see his boy share his story of grief with the nation, though. I was nervous for him anyway, because you just are. But I was so apprehensive because Bobby hasn't necessarily shared his experience of loss publicly before. Jeff, 44, admits. I worried it would be overwhelming. Also, that it would end up bringing up some unresolved grief he had. I worried that he'd find it too much. Grief is ugly, but to watch him be able to translate it into this understandable, beautiful thing was amazing. What a routine, too. EastEnders actor and model Bobby, 20, has been one of the standout stars of Strictly. His endless limbs, energy and pout reminding viewers of a young Mick Jagger. But this routine, so full of emotion, moved some of the judges to tears. Ditto his dad in the audience. Oh, I knew I would cry, but it was still overwhelming, Jeff tells me. The lovely Dan Walker was sitting behind me and he tapped me on the shoulder at one point and passed me a tissue. It was a very emotional thing, given the circumstances. Younger Strictly viewers would have needed to be reminded of those circumstances, older ones less so. For back in the noughties, Jade Goody was a household name, someone everyone knew of, even if they weren't a fan. One of Britain's first reality megastars, Jade, loud, uncompromising, laugh a minute, appeared on Big Brother in 2002, catapulting herself and those around her into the limelight. She and Jeff, who was also a reality star, having appeared on the show Shipwrecked the previous year, were the reality posh and becks of their day, and in 2003 Bobby was born into the biz. He appeared on his first OK cover when he was just a month old, his brother Freddie arriving the following year, also into the glare of camera flashes. And so it continued, even when Jade and Jeff split in 2004. Then in 2009, when Bobby was only 5, Jade died after a much-documented battle with cervical cancer, altering her family's trajectory forever. Overnight, Jeff became a single dad, a role he had never expected and for which, he admits today, there was no guidebook. How did he do? Well, the proof is always in the pudding. He seems as pleased as punch that Strictly viewers have taken Bobby to their hearts, applauding what a lovely, decent, and, dare we say it, well-balanced young man he seems to have become. Even Anton Dubica said, through the tears, that if his 6-year-old son grew up to be a young man like Bobby, he would be very proud, which surely suggests Jeff should get the glitterball equivalent of a parenting prize. Not yet, he is quick to say. I do watch him and I think my job is done. He's a joy to watch, not just on the dance floor, because he's got this fresh innocence. And yet he's confident, sparkling even. On some levels, especially when it comes to him modeling, acting, or dancing, I think I can't teach this kid anything more. But then, as a parent, you never stop having to be the one to pull them up. I think what I'm realizing is that your job is never over. When the boys were little and I had a more naive idea of parenting, I had this idea that when you got them to 18, someone would wave a checkered flag and say done. But actually it's not like that, is it? He tells me, rather hilariously, that what he has learned about parenting is that it's a bit like baking a cake, but without anyone ever telling you that you won't have all the ingredients. The kids will have lobbed some things in themselves, so you really don't have that much control. You just have to do your best and hope that it doesn't come out melting or burnt, or with bits falling off. It's hard to fathom how difficult it must have been for Jeff. It fell to him to explain to his sons that their mother had died. She paved the way, of course, sharing with them the story that we had agreed was best for them to hear, which involved Mummy becoming a big bright star that they would be able to see in the sky. On the day she died, in March 2009, there was, by chance, a single star in the sky.